Morning traders. What is up, everyone? Happy Tuesday. It is January 7th here, and we have a decent bit of news that's come out over the last day here from yesterday's CES. Overall, remember we talked about the computer electronics stuff, NVDA coming out with some big news and pretty much beaconing to investors that, you know what, it's looking like a pretty big year in NVIDIA. But before we get into NVIDIA and some of the other tech news here, we have finally seen Trudeau step down. As a Canadian, this is a good day. Yesterday, finally, after 10 years, it's been nearly almost a decade, Justin Trudeau has finally announced his decision to resign after dropping in the polls and cracks became apparent in his minority government. The fearful moment came shortly after Trudeau tried to demote one of his closest cabinet allies, Finance Minister Chrystia Freeland, right, when she challenged his proposal for more spending. After quitting, Freeland penned a letter that accused Trudeau of costly political gimmicks and the need to keep fiscal powder dry, given the U.S. President-elect Donald Trump with a new threat of 25% tariffs. So the rising costs of living and inflation have propelled the economy to top issue for many Canadian voters. It's been like that for a very, very long time. Ask me why I live in Eastern Europe. Who might have once considered climate change and progressive causes paramount when there was more money in their pockets. Loose immigration policies have additionally upset many citizens, while top-heavy mandates and regulations have triggered significant backlash. So remember when Freeland was the one that froze the Freedom Convoy's bank accounts? So real-world problems like housing affordability, employment are also taking precedence over future issues like sustainability and helping trigger a return to common sense. As federal debt levels pile up, the productivity worsens. All of this sentiment has helped fuel a right-wing shift across the globe against politicians who are seen as disconnected from the realities of the common man or woman. That outlook has also been embodied by unbridled pluralism or wokeism that has been preached over a proud national identity. It could take months for things to be ironed out in Canada. Remember, Trudeau is still going to be the Liberal, I guess, leader until they find someone else, which is due for March 2025. That's the expected timeline. But they still need time, right, like I said, to find a new Liberal Party leader and other political dynamics. But it looks like the party will be taking a drubbing when the national election takes place, which is expected October 2025. It could be sooner than that. Polls even suggest that the opposition, the Conservatives, Pierre Poilievre, could win a supermajority in Parliament based on what has gone down with the most recent actions with a Liberal government for the past 10 years. While Conservative leadership would be pro-business and could roll back many restrictions on the world's fourth largest oil-producing nation, there are still many issues surrounding trade that will be have to be ironed out. Tariffs on goods for its southern neighbor with the U.S. would be a big problem for Canada, as many of its exports are destined for the U.S. So the S&P TSX Composite closed lower on Monday on the loonie, the dollar, the Canadian dollar, gave back its gains against the U.S. dollar as Trump declared that the United States can no longer suffer the massive trade deficits and subsidies that Canada needs to stay afloat, and the country should become the 51st state, which is, I found that kind of funny. But in other main news, right, the tech side of things, AI, Jensen himself looks like he's propelling NVIDIA and the market to new highs. I think that NVIDIA becomes a huge name this year, as well as he outlined a lot of progress that's to be expected and what we could see in the coming year. So let me just find this image here. This is posted on Twitter, right, by a bunch of people here. He's kind of mapped out our investment path to billions of dollars. So Jensen is helping things come along pretty well. NVIDIA has been on a hot streak, and a lot of AI-centric announcements at the CES in Las Vegas on Monday by Jensen Huang, who took stage as the company's keynote, laying out his vision for everything from AI software that will power robots to self-driving cars to the new AI supercomputer that fits on your desk the size of a MacBook, from what I hear. NVIDIA's stock price popped about 5% yesterday. It's up, trading into all-time highs pre-market right now. It traded into an all-time high on close yesterday, but right now we are pushing into new, fresh all-time highs. Wall Street braced for the AI darling's latest offerings, and the company's stock is up a whopping 205% over the last 12 months, thanks to its massive investment, persistent investment in AI hardware and its CUDA software, which allows developers to use chips to run AI programs. The latest announcements focus on how programmers can take advantage of NVIDIA's existing hardware, its Hopper and Blackwell platforms. The company could debut a next-generation chip during its GTC conference in March, and during Monday's event, Huang showed off NVIDIA's newest Blackwell-based chip, the GB10 Super Chip. Its pint-sized version, the GB200 Super Chip, which combines a Grace Central Processing Unit CPU with two Blackwell Graphics Processing Units GPUs, and the smaller GB10 pairs a Grace CPU and Blackwell GPU. So NVIDIA says that the chip will be available in a small desktop system called Project Digits, and will come with 128 gigabyte of memory and 4 terabytes of storage. So the company says that the setup is powerful enough for researchers interested in prototyping, fine-tuning, and running large AI models. Project Digits will start at $3,000 and be available from May from NVIDIA and its OEM partners. He talked also about AI robotics and self-driving trucks, which is another move into AI. But long story short, Huang realistically outlaid what the potentials for NVIDIA look like, and everyone's screaming AI bubble, it's over, everything's going to explode in everyone's face. I think is going to see a little more of that fear continue as NVIDIA continues to coast higher and higher. Should January, as expected, be a pretty strong month, NVIDIA is going to have a very, very strong start to the year. And even on pullbacks, I personally think, again, not financial advice, that this is a pretty strong potential setup for this year, right? I think that a lot of my plays, swing trade / invest, are going to circulate around NVIDIA, not to over leverage and be deep into calls or NVDL or whatever you may have it. But right now, I've got some calls. We've got calls that expire in the middle of this month. We've got NVDL that's holding out pretty well. NVIDIA from oversold to successfully into all-time highs. I think the potential is still there to run and is going to be a name to look out for this year. Now, it's starting to pull up SMH, the semis with it, right? SMH gotta push through and close above that 260 plus area to really open things up. I think this can be a good solid driver to see things push up into January. One of its shittier counterparts, AMD, is still struggling to find some kind of breakthrough, but I think that there is good potential in this. If we can start moving above 135, 140 this month, AMD can also join in the fun. Now, in terms of what we got cooking for today, after some overnight stops, let's take a look at the S&P 500 here. S&P 500 had a pretty crap close yesterday. It started off pretty well, but started to move back into lower band auctions. Right now, as things stand, these mid-30s, as we have it, is a very, very detrimental place for the buy side to start opening up and taking us to that high. I still like the bullish momentum. My final straw around the bulls is about 6,000 on the S&P. I really do not want to see prices down there. I'd rather see them hold the mid-30s and continue the bid press up. But today, unlike yesterday we warned about 60-70. Today, I'd really like them to cross that 60-70 if we're going to have a strong bullish day, or at least just rotate into the 650s side by side, whatever happens to hold that upside pressure. So again, I am leaning a little more bullish today. We'll see how well we hold these mid-30s on the potential opening bid. That's what I'm going to be looking for. And then I get a little sad when we get down to 6,000 should that price trade. I think it's one of those last chances. Otherwise, we come back into a major auction, which is indeed short-term bearish. So thank you all for joining us. Hardik, currently pursuing your mentorship from India. Solid. Check us out at community.tradeproacademy.com. You can message us there and we'll help you out. But I hope everyone has a great Tuesday. We'll continue on with this week. Remember, Thursday markets are closed, so no update then. Friday, we'll probably stream, but Thursday, morning of Jimmy Carter, so everything's shut down. Hope you have a fantastic trading day. If you guys have any questions, you can check us out at community.tradeproacademy.com or